The difference between winners and losers isn't just in what they do, it's in what they never say. Most people talk themselves out of success without even realizing it. Their words expose their mindset, and their mindset writes their future. Today, we're not here to sugarcoat anything. We're here to expose the 6 sentences that intelligent people never let leave their mouths. If you've ever said them, it's time to wake up. I can't. 2 little words that instantly expose weakness, doubt, and a broken mindset. When someone says, I can't, what they're really doing is giving up before even trying. They're choosing defeat in advance. Intelligent people do not use this phrase because they understand one basic truth. Saying, I can't is rarely about physical inability. It's about mental surrender. And that's the fastest way to stay average for life. An intelligent person understands that every challenge, every obstacle, every so-called impossible task is simply a puzzle. A game to be studied, solved, and dominated. When others say, I can't, the intelligent say, how? They switch from emotion to execution. They don't allow feelings to make decisions for them. The world is full of people who could have achieved more had they not shut down the possibility before it even existed. I can't is a verbal brick wall. It's the language of someone who has already chosen comfort over growth. Look at any top performer in any field. Sports, business, military, art, it doesn't matter. None of them made it by saying, I can't. They encountered pain, setbacks, failure after failure. But instead of giving in, they recalculated. They found another angle, another door, another way. The intelligent mind sees no as not yet, not never. It understands that most limits are illusions, construction built by people too lazy to push further. People say I can't to protect their ego. If you say you can't, you never have to fail. You never have to risk looking stupid. But here's the truth. The intelligent know that failure is part of progress. They don't care how they look. They care about results. They'd rather fall on their face 100 times trying than sit on the sidelines saying I can't once. That phrase doesn't exist in their vocabulary because their identity is built on problem solving and persistence. Even when it's something they've never done before, the intelligent don't default to doubt. They ask questions, research, model success, learn fast, and attack. They don't need to be the best on day one. They just need to keep showing up, improving, and adjusting. I can't stops that process dead in its tracks. It's a kill switch for action. There's also a deeper level. Language shapes reality. What you say repeatedly becomes what you believe. Say, I can't enough times and you'll convince yourself you're helpless. But say, how can I enough times and you train your mind to search for answers. Intelligent people use language that programs their brain to keep moving, keep working, keep thinking. They protect their mindset by rejecting self-limiting speech. They know that one wrong sentence can lead to years of stagnation. So when someone says, I can't, an intelligent person hears weakness and they avoid it. They don't tolerate that mindset in themselves or their circle. They replace it with, I will figure it out. Because deep down, they know that's exactly what separates winners from everyone else. That's not fair. A phrase that screams emotional immaturity and victim mentality. Intelligent people don't waste their breath on this sentence because they understand one fundamental principle. Fairness doesn't exist. The world isn't built on balance, it's built on power, leverage, and strategy. Life is ruthless. It rewards action, not emotion. Saying that's not fair is like whining to a thunderstorm. Nothing changes, and no one cares. Intelligent individuals grasp this early. They don't expect life to play by some imaginary rule book that guarantees equal outcomes for unequal effort. When someone complains about fairness, they're usually comparing their results to someone else's rewards. They want the prize without playing the same game, without enduring the same risks or taking the same shots. But intelligence recognizes that reality doesn't operate on feelings. There's no cosmic scoreboard that tallies up your hard work and ensures you get what you think you deserve. Some people are born rich, some are born poor, some get chances, others don't. Intelligent people don't cry about it. They calculate their position, adapt their tactics, and fight their way forward anyway. The phrase "that's not fair" also reveals a dangerous flaw in thinking. It shows your focus on what you don't control. Intelligent people are obsessed with control, with influence, with outcomes they can directly impact. Complaining about fairness takes your eyes off your own path and points them at someone else's success. It breeds jealousy. It creates stagnation. It's a distraction. While others are busy crying about who got what, the intelligent are busy working in silence, building leverage, stacking advantages, and moving ahead. Saying that's not fair is emotional leakage. It's a public confession that you're more concerned with what feels right than what actually works. But intelligent people aren't interested in feelings when it comes to results. They know life isn't supposed to hand you anything. If you want it, you take it. If the game is rigged, you either learn how to play the rigged game better or you build your own. Fairness doesn't enter the equation. Performance does. Execution does. Mindset does. There's also a hidden weakness in this phrase. It assumes someone else is responsible for your situation, that someone wronged you, held you back, cheated the system, or stole your shot. But intelligent people take full responsibility even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. They don't waste time trying to correct the universe. They get sharper, smarter, faster. They don't demand fairness, they demand results. They understand that the world rewards those who create undeniable value, who show up when others give up, who keep swinging even when the odds are brutal. So while the average person wastes their energy pointing fingers and crying about justice, the intelligent mind is focused like a laser on winning, adapting, and evolving. Life doesn't reward the fair, it rewards the prepared, the strategic, the relentless. That's the truth, and intelligent people never forget it. That's not my job. A sentence soaked in laziness, ego, and small-minded thinking. When someone says this, what they're really doing is building walls around their growth. They're defining their value by the bare minimum they're willing to offer. Intelligent people don't speak like that because they understand something the average person doesn't. Every problem is an opportunity in disguise. If you're smart, you don't run from responsibility, you grab it. You claim it, you use it to become indispensable. The phrase, "That's not my job," is the language of someone who's just trying to survive, not someone who's trying to win. It belongs to people who clock in, do the minimum, and clock out, then wonder why they're stuck in the same position year after year. Intelligent individuals know that the way up is through ownership. They don't wait for permission to lead. They don't ask whether something falls under their job description. They ask, does this move things forward? And if the answer is yes, they do it. People who stick to "that's not my job" usually believe they're protecting themselves. They think if they avoid extra work, they won't be taken advantage of. But intelligent people know the truth. Nobody gets ahead by doing less. Nobody becomes valuable by shrinking. The more you do, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more leverage you gain. Intelligent people see every extra task as a new skill, a new weapon, a new edge. They don't run from challenges, they run toward them. Saying "that's not my job" also reveals a deep insecurity. It shows that someone is terrified of being stretched, afraid of failing at something unfamiliar, or too proud to get their hands dirty. But intelligence thrives in discomfort. Smart people know that growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when you're willing to do what others won't. You fix the problem nobody else wants to deal with. You clean up the mess. You step up when everyone else steps back. That's how leaders are made, not by title, but by action. Intelligent people also understand how power works. Influence doesn't come from staying in your lane, it comes from expanding it. When you take on more, you become the go-to person. You make yourself vital, you build trust, you create momentum, and eventually you become the one giving orders, not taking them. The people who rise are the ones who are seen solving problems, not avoiding them. There's also a respect factor. When you say "that's not my job," people stop looking to you for leadership. They stop depending on you. And in the real world, being forgettable is dangerous. Intelligent individuals would rather be overloaded than overlooked. They don't mind carrying the extra weight because they know it leads to more strength, more recognition, and more opportunity. "That's not my job" is a trap. It sounds smart in the moment, but it guarantees you'll stay exactly where you are, watching others pass you by. "I'm too busy." One of the most common lies people tell themselves to feel important while hiding their lack of control. Intelligent people never rely on this excuse because they know that being too busy is usually code for being disorganized, distracted, or undisciplined. Everyone has the same 24 hours, but not everyone uses them the same way. The smart understand that if something truly matters, it gets done. Period. No excuses, no delay. If it doesn't get done, it simply wasn't a priority. And intelligent people are honest enough to admit that. When someone says they're too busy, what they're really saying is that they've lost control of their time. They're reacting to life instead of commanding it. Intelligent people don't let their schedule happen to them. They create it. They design their day based on their goals, not based on random demands from other people. They don't answer every message, attend every meeting, or jump at every notification. They protect their time like it's treasure, because that's exactly what it is. The phrase "I'm too busy" also reveals a dangerous belief that being constantly occupied equals being productive. But intelligent people know that activity isn't the same as progress. You can be busy all day and achieve nothing. Smart individuals don't measure their value by how exhausted they feel at the end of the day. They measure it by the results they produce. They know the difference between motion and achievement. That's why they focus on what matters and cut everything else. Intelligent people also understand that saying "I'm too busy" can become a shield for laziness, fear, or avoidance. It's easy to say you're too busy to go to the gym, too busy to build that side project, too busy to call your family, too busy to read, too busy to improve. But the truth is, time wasn't the issue. Discipline was. You didn't schedule it, you didn't value it, you let something else take priority. Smart people don't let that slide. They know that every too busy moment is a decision, and decisions shape your life. There's also a social cost. When someone constantly says they're too busy, people eventually stop asking, opportunities stop coming, relationships suffer, respect fades. Intelligent people know that if you're always too busy for others, you're really just too sloppy to manage your own life. They don't brag about being overwhelmed. They eliminate chaos. They operate with clarity, strategy, and purpose. They make time, not excuses. Saying "I'm too busy" is often a cover for poor boundaries. Intelligent individuals know how to say no without guilt. They know what deserves their time and what doesn't. They don't waste hours on distractions, meaningless conversations, or unimportant tasks just to feel productive. Their calendar reflects their mission. Their schedule serves their goals. They don't wear busyness like a badge. They wear focus like armor. Because in the end, it's not about how full your day is, it's about how aligned your actions are with your vision. I'm just being honest. This phrase is often used as a shield to cover up rudeness, insecurity, or a complete lack of emotional intelligence. Intelligent people don't rely on this excuse because they understand that honesty without awareness is not a virtue, it's a weapon. Anyone can speak their mind, but it takes skill to deliver truth in a way that's useful, not destructive. Intelligent people don't just ask, "Is it true?" They ask, "Is it necessary? Is it helpful? Is this the right time?" Because smart communication isn't just about what you say, it's about how, when, and why you say it. When someone says, "I'm just being honest," they're often trying to justify a statement that cuts, offends, or belittles someone else. It's not about truth, it's about control. They want the power of being blunt without the responsibility that comes with it. But intelligent people know that real communication is strategic. You don't speak truth just to prove you're right. You speak it to create clarity, growth, or improvement. Anything else is ego, not honesty. People who hide behind "I'm just being honest" are usually using truth as a hammer when what's needed is a scalpel. They don't care about the impact of their words. They care about being heard, being dominant, being the one who tells it like it is. But the truly intelligent know that words can build or break, and they choose their words with precision. Being direct doesn't mean being disrespectful. You can be honest and still be kind, firm, and tactful at the same time. This phrase also reveals a lack of emotional discipline. Just because something is true doesn't mean it needs to be said in that exact moment or in that exact way. Intelligent individuals don't let their mouth run on autopilot. They think before they speak. They read the room. They assess the stakes. They choose the tone. They understand that communication is not about dumping raw thoughts. It's about delivering the right message in the most effective way. There's also a maturity factor. People who say "I'm just being honest" often think they're bold or brave, but in reality, they're just impulsive. It takes no intelligence to blurt out opinions. It takes wisdom to hold back, reframe, or wait until the timing is right. Intelligent people operate with self-control. They know when to speak and when to stay silent. They know the difference between speaking truth and creating conflict. And they're not addicted to being the one who said it. They're focused on getting results. Finally, intelligent people don't use honesty as a disguise for bitterness or personal frustration. If they're being honest, it's because the truth serves a greater purpose, not just their ego. They speak with intent, not impulse. They understand that words once spoken can't be taken back. So they don't use honesty as an excuse. They use it as a tool, wielded with care, strategy, and purpose. I already know that. A phrase that kills growth the second it leaves your mouth. Intelligent people never use it because they understand that mastery isn't about knowing something once. It's about revisiting, refining, and improving it constantly. Saying, I already know that, shuts the door on learning. It tells your brain to stop paying attention. It tells everyone around you that your ego is more important than your development. That's the mindset of someone who's stuck. Because real intelligence is humble, not arrogant. People who say, I already know that, are usually more interested in being perceived as smart than actually becoming smarter. They're too focused on showing off instead of leveling up. They think repeating lessons is a waste of time. But intelligent individuals know that repetition sharpens skill. Hearing the same truth again doesn't mean you've mastered it. Knowledge doesn't equal execution. You can know how to get in shape and still be weak. You can know how to make money and still be broke. Intelligent people care about results, not just information. This phrase also reveals something deeper, insecurity. When someone rushes to say, I already know that, what they're really doing is protecting their ego. They're uncomfortable being seen as a student. But the smartest people on earth remain students forever. They never get tired of hearing the fundamentals. They seek new perspectives, new insights, new angles, because even the basics in the right hands can unlock elite performance. You never outgrow the basics, you deepen them. Intelligent people also understand that every conversation, every book, every situation can teach you something if you're paying attention. They listen with the intent to discover, not with the need to respond. When someone shares a piece of advice or knowledge they've heard before, they don't cut them off with, I already know that. They listen again. Why? Because this time, it might click differently. The timing might be better, their mindset might be more prepared. A small shift in how the message is delivered might unlock a bigger result. Saying, I already know that, also blocks connection. It's a social signal that you're not open, you're not teachable, you're not collaborative. Intelligent people know that humility is magnetic. When you stay open, people want to share more. You earn respect not by pretending to know everything, but by being sharp enough to realize that there's always more to learn, even from unexpected sources, even from people you might think are below you. Even in their strongest areas, intelligent people assume there's more to gain. They know that true mastery comes from obsession with the details, not from pride in what you learned last year. They don't throw up mental walls. They don't protect outdated beliefs. They approach everything with curiosity, not arrogance. And that's why they keep rising. Because while others are busy defending what they think they know, the intelligent are upgrading what they actually know and turning it into results. In a world full of noise, distractions, and ego-driven talk, the truly intelligent move differently. They don't waste words on excuses, complaints, or emotional outbursts. They don't say, I can't, because they know limits are illusions. They don't whine, that's not fair, because they understand life rewards action, not pity. They never say, that's not my job, because they see every task as a step toward power. I'm too busy doesn't come out of their mouth because their time is controlled, not chaotic. I'm just being honest isn't their excuse for being reckless, because they know truth without tact is just noise. And they never say, I already know that, because they're always sharpening, always evolving. Intelligence isn't about showing off what you know, it's about how you think, how you speak, and how you handle pressure. It's not in your degrees, your titles, or your vocabulary. It's in your discipline, your humility, and your execution. The smartest people in the room often say the least, but what they don't say reveals everything. So if you want to rise, pay close attention to the words you choose, and even closer attention to the ones you never let escape your mouth. That's where real power begins.